Deeply concerned by the worsening global pollution and terrified that the world's natural resources may one day run out, the University of Chicago launches a potentially revolutionary scientific project to extract clean hydrogen energy from water. For this ambitious dream, the project leader, Dr. Paul Shannon, elects an ambitious scientist who more than anything dreams of rescuing the Earth as head of the project and assembles a small team made up of project head, physicist, Dr. Lily Sinclair, project manager Dr. Lu Chen, and a bright young machinist student, Eddie Kasalivich. Dedicated to achieve one of the greatest scientific breakthroughs of all time, the team commits themselves entirely to the project over the next few months, sacrificing sleep and their personal lives to spend the majority of each day in the laboratory. And instead of being discouraged with the numerous failed trials, the team treats the setbacks as teaching experiences and goes again, each time with renewed determination, hoping to change the world for the better. One morning, Eddie rises early, heads to the laboratory to join the rest of the team, and as set up for the experiment, Dr. Paul arrives to get his regular update.
Sustained fusion for 4.6 milliseconds.
The team takes a few minutes to try to work out the configurations, prepares a demonstration, and invites Dr. Paul to join them. Then, everyone gathers, crosses their fingers, holds their breath, and fires the laser to start the experiment. But it all once again goes sideways.
We learned something very important today. We found another way that didn't work.
Seeing his team deflated, Dr. Alastair reminds them of the stakes, motivates them to take what they learned from the failed experiment and adjust the data and retry, and everyone returns to work without dwelling too much on the shortcomings. That night, Eddie returns home, continues working on the project in his home lab, and after a few hours is stunned to discover a sound frequency that perfectly stabilizes their experiment. Stunned, Eddie takes time to verify what he has just witnessed, and after making sure everything is in order, makes a call.
Yeah, it's stable. Completely stable.
The next day, at the lab, the team gathers and, using Eddie's new discovery, sets up the experiment while holding their breath with anticipation and utter hope of replicating the success. Then, within minutes, the team gets the results they were hoping for and becomes utterly delighted to see the unprecedented success.
Getting more out than we put in.
While Dr. Paul, who's stunned out of his mind, sits down to take in the greatest moment of his career, the rest, led by Dr. Alastair, heads off to take a closer look at the epic results, and seemingly endless work has paid off. While the team congratulates one another, breaks out the drinks, balloons, and music, and starts celebrating the incredible feat, Dr. Paul pulls Dr. Alastair away for a private discussion.
I never agreed to keep anything from anyone. You know how I feel about
Alistair, be cool.
The meeting is soon interrupted by the rest of the team, who invite the duo to join them for pictures, which will forever commemorate the occasion and capture the historic moment. Then, after a couple of hours of partying, the team decides to call it a night. And while Dr. Alastair and Dr. Lu stay back to finish up, the rest decide to go home. Hence, Eddie leaves the lab, and as he proceeds to take his motorcycle, he notices Dr. Lily struggling to start her car and soon figures out that the battery had died.
Where do you live?
I live in England. Let's take a taxi.
Taxi, huh?
Uh-huh.
Seeing that it's quite dark, Eddie decides to escort the drunk Dr. Lily home by bus, and as soon as the duo heads off, unbeknownst to anyone, a mysterious van arrives. Meanwhile, inside the lab, Dr. Alastair and Dr. Lu continue working.
I want to get it all on the internet tonight.
We're gonna be waking up a lot of people.
As a group of people gets out of the mysterious van and heads inside the lab, Dr. Lu hears strange sounds, leaves his seat, and cautiously inspects the lab. Elsewhere, Eddie escorts Dr. Lily to Alastair's home, where she lives on the 3rd floor. Once there, Eddie walks the wobbling doctor to her bedroom, where she quickly falls asleep, and just as he proceeds to leave, he sees a wall full of her framed certificates showing her achievements. Then, Eddie returns to the lab to retrieve his motorcycle, and as he gets there, he notices the mysterious van leaving. He's shocked to hear the alarm blaring from inside the lab and runs inside to find out what's going on. Inside, Eddie calls out for his colleagues as loud as he can, finds no response. And as he goes around looking for them, he's shocked out of his mind to find Alastair dead on the floor with a plastic bag around his head, while Dr. Lu is nowhere to be found. Unable to comprehend what he's seeing and in denial that the great mentor he admired is gone, Eddie tries to resuscitate him for a few minutes, to no avail. Devastated, Eddie then turns his attention to the alarm and is shocked to see that the successful system they had just celebrated only a few hours ago has become extremely unstable, with no way to deactivate it or stabilize it. Knowing the inevitable outcome, Eddie pushes aside his grief, confusion, and questions, runs out to his motorcycle, drives as fast as he can, and barely escapes and survives the massive explosion caused by a detonator triggered by the people in the van that ends up destroying the lab and 8 blocks of surrounding street. In the aftermath, Eddie manages to get up and watches on, paralyzed by disbelief and utter confusion, as the night that had started with great hope for humanity and celebrations ends in an incomprehensible disaster. Later, forcing himself out of his trance, Eddie somehow leaves and makes a call.
What?
Shocked to his core, Dr. Paul spends hours trying to wrap his head around the implications of what he had just learned, and quietly looks outside as if mourning what could have been. The next morning, the media swarms demolish the explosion site, trying to make sense out of what just happened.
Alistair didn't come home last night, and Lou Chen isn't anywhere to be found.
Then the FBI arrives and tries to find out the facts of what happened.
I want wiretap orders, search warrants on everyone who worked here.
While the devastated team stands aside, overwhelmed by the loss, the FBI agents comb through the scene, gathering as much evidence as they can. Later, the team is taken to the FBI headquarters for questioning.
Who'd be interested in this technology?
Abundant energy? Who wouldn't?
When you left the celebration, who was still there?
Eddie.
Well, what is your relationship with Miss Sinclair?
We work together.
Later, as Dr. Lily, Dr. Paul, and Eddie head to Dr. Alastair's house, they are swarmed by the media.
They just have no respect for a man's life.
These are very important and extremely sensitive scientific papers.
Then, unable to stay at the late doctor's house any longer, Dr. Lily starts packing her stuff and prepares to leave.
This is insane.
They're going to think he did it.
Moments later, Dr. Lily receives an unexpected fax, eagerly reads it, but is shocked by the content.
It's from Dr. Lou Chen. He wants me to bring the rest of the information or...
After taking a few minutes to process what's on the fax and inspecting it closely, the doctor has a shocking revelation.
I'm being framed.
Later, Agent Leon and Agent Doyle visit Dr. Paul at his office located at the Center for Advanced Research building.
Just received Eddie Kasalivich's file. Seems he had to leave college for disciplinary reasons.
He resigned.
Under some pressure, wouldn't you say?
Elsewhere, hoping to find some temporary refuge, Eddie proceeds to take Dr. Lily to his loft. But as the duo nears his building, they see FBI agents swarming it and quickly flee the area. Meanwhile, Agent Doyle and his team head to Eddie's apartment and turn it upside down, trying to gather as much information as they can.
What's this?
It's a transmitter. It sends massive amounts of information by satellite.
To make matters worse for Eddie, as the agents continue their search, they find wads of cash lying around and suspect that the machinist may know more than he let on. Meanwhile, having nowhere else to go, Dr. Lily and Eddie go to Dr. Paul's apartment building, hide in the parking lot, and wait to speak to him.
Tell me about the money, Eddie. The $250,000 the FBI found in your loft.
I'm not going.
What do you mean you're not going?
We didn't do anything to Shannon.
It's gonna be all right, Eddie. I promise you. Don't use the phone. I'll call you.
On the other side of the city, at the FBI headquarters, the agents discuss the curious case and those involved.
Jesus, who the hell is this guy?
Not just someone that runs a foundation, huh?
Relieved to have an ally and feeling like the whole ordeal will soon be worked out, Dr. Lily and Eddie go to a local restaurant to get some respite and plan their next move.
That's where Maggie lives.
You're sure you can trust her?
We used to live and work together.
However, the duo's plans are soon interrupted as a special news report regarding the case comes on TV.
Dr. Lily Sinclair and Edward Kasalivich.
Get a cab outside. Buy 2 tickets, Williams Bay.
Pushing her growing panic aside, Dr. Lily cautiously steps out of the restaurant, gets a cab, and as she proceeds to leave for the Union Station, she watches in horror as Eddie, who had left the restaurant soon after her, is recognized and chased by agents. Unable to help her friend, Dr. Lily continues on her way, desperately hoping Eddie will somehow make it to the station. Meanwhile, determined to remain free and prove his innocence, Eddie runs for his life as the agents, together with Chicago police officers, continue chasing him.
The hell's he doing?
Soon, more officers and agents, including police helicopters and boats, join the chase as Eddie runs onto a bascule bridge and barely manages to get away from an officer chasing him closely. As the whole city watches the ordeal with confusion, Eddie gets to the top of the bridge and tries to figure out his next move. That was quite brave. Eddie then cautiously starts going over, shocking the agents and everyone watching the ordeal.
Officer, if I move that bridge, he's gonna fall.
Eddie manages to get down, stops the bridge just in time, makes his way back, and, unbeknownst to the agents, discreetly passes right under their noses and escapes. Then, Eddie flees the area, and against all odds, makes it to the train station just in time. He's then reunited with a relieved Dr. Lily, who warmly embraces him. Then, after an exhausting trip, the duo reaches the observatory and meets Maggie, who warmly welcomes them.
You must be the other terrorist. Hi, Lily.
A couple of days later, as a leader of the project, Dr. Paul appears in front of the Select Senate Committee to explain the ordeal.
But sometimes that is the price we must pay to ensure our competitive edge in the future.
Your words were spoken like a true patriot.
Thank you, sir.
Elsewhere, with the help of Maggie, Dr. Lily and Eddie try to figure out who could be behind all the chaos.
They would have thought it was an accident.
Nobody knows what's going on now, Maggie. In Washington, despite the FBI closely following him, Dr. Paul heads to Leesburg, Virginia, to a research center called C Systems, and calmly walks in, while the agents are later denied access.
I'm sorry, sir. We're not allowed to discuss this matter with you.
Dr. Paul then meets with C Systems chairman Lyman Collier.
This is another one of your messes, Lyman.
It's not the Peace Corps, Paul. You know this thing's still not working.
Later, as Dr. Paul leads a meeting, he receives a call.
Shannon, it's Eddie.
It's him. He's on a payphone in Williams Bay.
We'll come to you.
No, don't come here then.
As the sirens get closer, Eddie profusely thanks Maggie for everything and runs back to the observatory to retrieve Dr. Lily. With friends like these, who needs enemies? Eddie runs as fast as he can to evade capture and finally reaches Dr. Lily.
Hold it right there. Hey!
However, his troubles are far from over, as the duo is soon caught by a state trooper who follows them to the roof. As the cornered duo proceeds to surrender and slowly follow the trooper's orders, a helicopter arrives. And to their shock, instead of assisting the trooper, the man inside shoots him dead, spares the duo's life, framing them with yet another crime in the process, and leaves. As officers start arriving at the observatory, without having a moment to wrap their heads around what just occurred, Eddie takes the gun from the dead man, and the duo runs as fast as they can with the officers in tow. Luckily, after an exhausting run, the duo finds a fire rescue boat and uses it to flee the area.
He's out of our sight! 12 o'clock! Go, go! There's nobody in there!
Fortunately, on the other side, the duo finds an empty house, takes shelter, and a much-needed respite. Once inside, seeing that the doctor is freezing, Eddie looks after her and draws her a warm bath to get her body temperature up. In Washington, Agent Leon and Doyle barge into Dr. Paul's estate to confront him with their recent findings.
The funding for your foundation comes from a wide variety of sources, but the bulk of your contributions seem to come from one account in the Cayman Islands.
Well, if that's the case, there may be national security issues here that are larger than all of us.
National security does not include murdering people, domestically at least.
Elsewhere, at the house, Eddie cooks Dr. Lily, who's slowly recovering some dinner from ingredients he finds in the refrigerator, and momentarily joins her. Eddie then comforts Dr. Lily, and hoping they can use it for their escape, goes out to the garage to fix the car he saw parked there. Later, disturbed by what he had learned from the agents, a frustrated Dr. Paul visits Lyman at his office.
Now he's a cop killer. Worst case scenario, they kill him.
This poor boy is the only one who knows the frequencies.
At the empty house, Eddie finishes fixing the car, goes out for a walk to clear his head. Eddie is alarmed to see a flashlight through the windows of the house, realizes that an intruder has entered, and fearing for Dr. Lily's safety, cautiously returns. However, once inside, Eddie overhears a disturbing conversation.
What does he want us to do? When they find out, we'll get him.
With the help of Dr. Lily, Eddie manages to neutralize the assailants, and shocked by the close call, the duo drives away while going through the contents of the intruders' wallets. Despite failing to learn their identities, the duo gets clues hinting at connections to Leesburg, Virginia. Later, the duo gets to the city, and hoping to make their next move, Dr. Lily heads to a florist.
I'd like to send some flowers and a note to a friend of mine in Virginia.
I'm not quite sure where they're from. Here's a note.
Hoping to find out more about the peculiar delivery, the FBI stops the delivery man and questions him.
Mind if I take one of these?
No, sure.
Look at what I brought back from the flower shop.
On versus Neanderthal Man, 4 p.m. today.
That afternoon, having correctly deciphered Eddie's note, Dr. Paul meets him at the Science Museum.
I've got my car outside. Follow me. We'll go someplace where we can talk. Eddie, the world isn't quite as simple as we'd like it to be. Time to go, Eddie. We've got a job to complete.
As if he hadn't just admitted to completely ruining Eddie and Dr. Lily's lives, Dr. Paul calmly walks away, knowing Lyman's goons are nearby and will handle the duo. Then, an exhausting chase ensues, as Lyman's crew chases the duo around the museum. Unfortunately, after a few minutes, Eddie and Dr. Lily are separated, and the doctor is captured, sedated, and kidnapped. Eddie sees this from a distance, tries to catch up with the fleeing car to no avail, and only manages to memorize its license plate. A couple of hours later, Dr. Lily wakes up and finds herself at the C-System facility.
We'd very much like for you and Dr. Chen to continue the work you've been doing with Dr. Barkley.
You can't be serious.
Oh, yes.
Good question. At the FBI office, hoping to get more insight into the case and learn about the team's dynamic, Agent Leon watches videos of Eddie and Dr. Alistair.
Does that look like a kid who's about to kill this guy, then blow the whole place up in a couple of hours? $100. Kid didn't do it.
Meanwhile, after using his wit to trace the license plate, Eddie heads to the C-Systems facility, gets inside disguised as one of the workers, and goes to the lab, where Dr. Liu and Dr. Lily are forced to conduct an experiment, with a warning that they must replicate their recent success. However, a few minutes after the experiment is started, while everyone watches with anticipation, the system becomes terribly unstable.
It won't work without the right frequencies.
He said that's what he's been trying to tell you for days.
As everyone leaves for the night and retires to their quarters, Eddie sneaks into the lab and, using his expertise, spends a few minutes fixing it. The next morning, Dr. Paul arrives early to work on the experiment and figure out the issues, and receives surprising news.
Lukash claims he figured it out.
Lucas.
It's a story.
Dr. Paul doesn't believe either the news or who was behind the success, rushes to the lab to see it for himself, and finds everyone excitedly awaiting his arrival.
Well, I couldn't sleep last night, sir. So I went down to the lab and ran the experiment.
Did you document the regulator frequencies? I'd like those on a disk. Now, sir.
While Lyman suspiciously watches Dr. Paul, wondering where he's going at such a big moment, Dr. Paul heads out to meet with his secretary, Anita.
I'll try to meet you at the silo. Wait as long as you can.
Yes, sir.
Then, Dr. Paul returns to his office and finds Eddie comfortably sitting in his chair and discreetly writing an email to Agent Leon.
Hello, Eddie. Figured it was you and made a mistake.
Is this part of the Moore Foundation?
The duo is soon interrupted by Lyman, who shows up with his goons.
Now let us go. I get it to work.
Your position is non-negotiable.
Annoyed by the response, Eddie swiftly sends the email along with some valuable data to the FBI and, in the same move, shuts down the systems of the experiment remotely, which sends shocking waves.
What did you just do? I just told the FBI I was willing to surrender. Turn it off. It's self-sustaining. It can't be shut down.
Why don't you fix it now, like you supposedly did earlier, Lucas? At the FBI office, the agents receive Eddie's message. At the C-Systems facility, the celebrations soon turn into panic and utter chaos, as everyone tries to get the looming disaster under control.
Pressure!
Pressure's 500 psi and rising.
Lost control of the system, Lyman. We can't shut it down.
Frustrated, the unpredictable Lyman quickly pulls his gun out and, to the shock of everyone, fatally shoots Dr. Liu and takes Dr. Lily hostage.
That was totally unnecessary!
I'm going to turn down the power and reboot the system. No!
As if he knows better, Lucas goes against the warnings and turns the systems off. Just like Eddie had predicted, this soon backfires and escalates the chaos.
Turn it back on, man!
You can't.
The computers are down.
As alarms blare with frightening warnings, the panicked staff tries to save themselves and rushes to evacuate.
I can't now.
I can't!
While Eddie and Dr. Lily reunite, Lyman proceeds to evacuate the facility.
You two, stay! What possible difference can it make now?
Well, are you coming?
Feeling cornered and hoping to assuage the irrational man, Dr. Paul apologizes to the duo, joins the group, and exits the lab. Eddie and Dr. Lily try to leave the lab, but are attacked by the guards, who shut the duo in and manage to leave just in time. Left to face certain death, The duo tries to find any means necessary to escape, but they are horrified to learn that all the containment doors have closed, trapping them inside for good. Meanwhile, unaware of the chaos following Eddie's message, Agent Leon and Agent Doyle arrive by helicopter.
And Lyman Collier, hang on to them.
Inside the lab, determined to survive the horrific ordeal, Eddie uses his knowledge to design a way out, and the duo quickly escapes the lab and heads to the lower level. On the other side of the facility, Dr. Paul and Lyman get on the elevator, hoping to make it out as soon as possible.
By the way, Paul, do you have that disc? Thank you so much.
Then, unable to tolerate the erratic man who has become a great liability that thrives on chaos and bloodshed any longer, Dr. Paul fatally shoots Lyman. He then quickly leaves the elevator and proceeds to turn off the containment system, which opens the locked gates, allowing the desperate Eddie and Dr. Lily to escape. Then, as the relieved duo rushes to find an exit, they are ambushed by Lyman's men, who are still unaware of their boss's fate. Eddie once again outsmarts the men and, after a brutal fight, joins Dr. Lily and, with the help of the staff on the ground, attempt to get out of the facility, which soon explodes. Then, as everyone holds their breath in anticipation, the duo barely makes it out of the disaster and are met with the happy cheers of the staff. Moments later, as Eddie and Dr. Lily finally breathe a sigh of relief, they are met by the FBI agents, who are glad to see that the innocent duo they have been chasing have survived the ordeal.
We've got some questions to answer in Washington for about 6 weeks. Doyle, split them up. I'll meet you back at the office. Dr. Sinclair and I ride together. All right, come on, both of you.
Elsewhere, Dr. Paul walks away from the ordeal unscathed, joins Anita in the car, and drives away, seemingly unaffected by the destruction and bloodshed. Later, the whole C-Systems complex implodes, leaving no trace of its existence.